Hello, my friends, and this is the voice of the Tenkaichi of gaming, aka the underdog of the underrated, aka Ichigo Musako, aka Pookie Izzy 7, otherwise known as me. The most difficult I've ever found in what I had to deal with any kind of project that I've ever done on my 10 years of being on YouTube is my voice. Now, I know when I put this up, it's going on both YouTube and the audio files going up on SoundCloud, but just hear me out for a moment. It is not easy being a voice actor, nor is it easy being a Let's Player, and the same thing goes for being an author. Nor is it ever simple to make up a poem when the moment strikes. Because sometimes when the moment strikes, you draw a blank. Most times I find myself drawing a blank because there's so much going on in my head that sometimes I like to listen to music while I'm focusing on the game if I don't have anything quirky to say about it. Or if there isn't any story coming up, I like to listen to the voice acting in the story because to me it's interesting. Most times when I'm playing a game with an already made voice cast for it, be it Japanese or English, I like to listen in on the banter. Now, another thing for people to notice is something about the roles I play. Every time I do a Let's Play, I usually play the role of the sometimes silent protagonist. If not that, I'm basically that thought bubble that goes on in the protagonist's brain. What should be said, the intention of why it should have been said, and everything else in between that. Most people don't understand that doing a Let's Play is somewhat like reading a book or reading a script. And you're reading scripts in different voices. And even what I do outside of being a Let's Player, which is, doing voice acting, even I am not sure of how my own abilities as a voice actor would measure up. Especially when I do auditions. It feels like I'm always short. I don't know why, but it's like for what people ask for, I can give it to them, but I kind of wish I was in the studio and actually giving a performance instead of being here in my room at home and just reading it and trying to visualize its character as an extension of myself. Like this character, for example, Getsu from Getsu Fumade. Well, its full name is Getsufuma. I think I mentioned this before, but pretty much this is what I gotta deal with on a daily basis. I had to deal with the demons that normally people wouldn't usually see. Because there are certain people who can see them and certain people who can't. I'm one of the few who can see them. And they do exist. Whether they do it for the quote unquote good of the world, they're really not. They're in it for themselves. And even those on YouTube with face cam and all that, they're not doing it for the fans. They're doing it for themselves. Me, I don't have a face cam, so I'm not worried about it. You know what I look like. I have my YouTube channel. You know exactly what I look like. I'm Native American. For those who don't know, yes, I am Native American. I made it look black, but I'm not exactly black. So therefore, I have a better taste of music than other people do. I somewhat look down um, at music as a whole at times because you hear the same scratches and beats and whatnot, and it doesn't sound like anything unless you listen to something else. And when you're someone who's basically bred and born California and it's Californian ways, you start to draw a symptom of dull and listlessness. Therefore, yes, rap is the big thing here. It's always been a big thing, but I swear to God, I get sick and tired of hearing the same damn thing over and over and over again. It just grates on my nerves. So another thing, why am I a Let's Player? Well, it's very easy. You see, I'm not out there for the fame. Anybody can get the fame of being a Let's Player. That's easy. Of course, people already know that because there are plenty of us around. And like I said, they do it for the fame because they have the charisma, they have the tools, they have the quote unquote talent, whatever that is. And if they work it, they work it. Now, when I started a decade ago on YouTube, I wanted to be one of them. I wanted to be noticed. I wanted to get that kind of attention. And then, through hard work, I just managed to do the following: gain 1,000 subs in the course of over, say, maybe 7 or 8 years, I don't know. And then after that, the buzz started to fade. And what I find enjoyment now as a Let's Player is the projects themselves. I feel that my projects are basically an extension of myself because I can dig into my imagination. I can be who I want to be. I got the voice for it. I got the tones for it. If I can go dark, I can go dark. If I want to be douchebag, I don't enjoy wanting to be a douchebag in many different flavors. And for those who are wondering, I am not a douchebag in by nature. I am not a douchebag. No, more than likely, I'm just one of those people who happen to be very, very underappreciated. And because I am underappreciated, I am one of those people who are basically under the not under the spotlight, but we want that sort of praise of being unique, different, and all around being a nutcase. You see me every time as playing the good guy, but not just your standard everyday good guy. I'm one of those good guys who basically take my role and go the extra mile. You see it every time whenever I do Let's Plays, whenever I post at least a month ahead in advance or 2 months ahead in advance or what have you. I'm hard at work, not just working on one project, but many projects. I may be working on one project. I may be working on a review for this game. I might be working on something for next year. I might be working on something that I've been holding back for I don't know how long because other projects have been getting in my way and I couldn't find the time for them because everybody else wants my time. It's not a problem, but still. The thing is, I try to make the time I can for every little thing in my life. It has not been easy, let me tell you. Last couple of years, when I started, there was one person I did it for. And although she is not here, she was the inspiration for me actually finding a purpose for this channel. That's my mom. My mother always smiled after listening to my voice. It is something I heard before she passed, or possibly after she passed. But the one thing I remember hearing was she always smiled after listening to my voice while I've been doing Let's Plays. And one thing I can tell you is that after I'm done working on a project, after I make like say five or six or so parts. When I first started, I did 5 to 6 parts, and that was back then when YouTube did 15-minute. You could do up to 15 minutes of video. The max was like 15 and a half, so you did almost damn near 16 minutes. That was before, you can do unlimited. When I did finish, like, say, like, let's say, almost 2 hours a session. And I did this at around the usual time, which would be like say 11 to 2 or 12 to 3 or something like that. What I always did before or after I finished any project or any session was I would always check my parents' room. I peek in and I would say, "That wasn't too loud, was it?" And I would just hear, "What you mean no?" And then I just say, "Good night." I say, "Okay, just making sure. Good night." Like I said, there's a reason why I actually did the games for the channel, and that's like let's say maybe 200 or so games. I am not sure. I don't know where my scheduler is because I have a list of games that I've beaten, and I have to add another one because recently I've beaten two, and the problem is, well, mainly internet issues via PS4. That's the only reason. So I'm trying to put together something so I can upload these parts just so I can have it on my hard drive, put something else on it, continue posting something for July. I already got part of it up, but I need to put the rest of it up before it reaches that point to where I should not be, you know, rushing myself. Because when making projects, now at this juncture, what I find myself doing is revisiting myself. Revisiting myself when I started. Because I would usually make, as I said, let's say 5 to 6 parts. Then after that, I hop off here and I will be on here and I record something else. Whether games are sent to me, I make reviews of them, or I make standby Let's Plays. Because I want to set up a system to where I give myself enough time to play through a game and not rush myself into putting them up. That's why I am actually redoing this in a way that actually makes sense. I'm revisiting myself as I am going through 10 years of doing Let's Plays. And at the same time that I'm doing a Let's Play, I'm rediscovering myself and rebuilding myself as a voice actor. And like I said, since I thought about it, oh hey, most of what I do on YouTube, especially if it's going to be something like a retrospect episode of sorts, because that's what it is. This is what it really comes down to. It's a retrospect of then and now. Then, I didn't used to be this talkative. Actually, when I first started, I only did playthroughs. Then, later down the line, I started talking on my videos. From the years of Windows XP to the age of 10. And I can say now, without a shadow of a doubt, that I am actually getting used to myself. Me being the Let's Player me being an artist. Trying to get used to myself being an artist. Rediscovering myself as an artist. And not forgetting my roots as being a Let's Player. And I happen to be that guy that has to deal with every stinking demon that's out there. Whether I'm in direct contact with them or not. And trust me, I have dealt with plenty of demon in my lifetime. And each one of them just either repulsive, tiresome, or even to the point that I'm just sick and tired of seeing them in my presence to where they would slowly piss me the fuck off. When you think about it like that, I can only say that the more I do for myself, the more weight I am dropping off myself. To some people, it might be therapy to some, and a bit of that is true. But to me, it's a part of me I don't know too much. Or should I say, I don't meet with very often. And especially during this time, that we're just all somewhat losing our minds. And me, what do I want to do? During this time, I want to make sure I have enough food to last for, say, 3 weeks. To make sure that the bills are paid and my sanity is kept under lock and key. Whether I'm playing a game for a review or for my leisure or for the fact that I'm doing it as a let's play, whatever book I'm reading, it's entertaining me as well. It's lighting something underneath the back of my head to where I want to write poetry and rekindle me as an author. All these things and then some, it is something that needs to be said. That when I don't feel pressured to read, when I'm speaking from my mind, it feels so much more comforting. So much simpler that I'm not struggling so much because I feel there are times that I'm struggling even with the most simplest word that I struggle with. I shouldn't be struggling, but after everything that has been going on with me, and a survivor of many things that happened to me early on in my life, a decade of me doing Let's Plays, reviews, showing who I am. And despite all this, I'm dealing with a disability I've had since birth. And yet, I'm handling this like a champ. And even though people would say, oh, you need more subscribers. Yeah, well, thank you for that, whoever you are. I deserve plenty of whatever I feel I deserve. I need to get subscribers, followers, whatever. If you find me fascinating, thank you. I can only say, I try. That's all. That's all I can say. I try. I try to entertain. I give my best when I feel I'm entertaining you. If I bring a smile to your face, I think I've done the job I'm supposed to do, which is to bring something positive back into the world. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not doing it for my benefit. I'm doing it for the benefit that if I can bring a smile, if I can make somebody laugh, if I can basically stop all the bullshit that is going on in this world for a time, if I can only do that, I have done my job and I have done it well enough. If for some reason I have done the job that I am supposed to do, then therefore everything I have fought for over the years, whether I'm doing something like this, to where I am doing something like this, I'm drawing a sword against the bullshit that invades and plagues us all. If I can do that and keep my strong arm going for as long as it takes, then I feel then I've done something worthwhile, even if it was for 70 pots. And I'm doing this in under 2 hours, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 hours. I have done my job and done it well. I can say I've worked hard. I worked hard because I feel if it's the most simplest thing I can do, and trust me, I was at one point a teacher as well. If I have done anything that was worth the time and the effort to bring a smile, that's all I really done it for. If I brought happiness to someone, and I'm not saying just one, but many persons in this world who need a laugh, who need to get lost into something. Let me help you get lost with what I'm doing. Let me help you entertain you for a while, for maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, until you laugh, until you giggle, you smile, because you know why? I'm stupid. That's right. I'm stupid. It's not because of the color of my skin. It's not because of my hardships. My hardships in life just make me me. I've dealt with worse. Okay? Being picked on just for having one side worse than the other. There are worse things out there than just worrying about your face, your skin, your sexual preferences and whatnot. That's not even important. You surviving this age is more important than all of this. And I mean it. And even if I don't get some kind of comment, some kind of feedback, anything, if I can get somebody to listen, if I can get many people to listen, then like I said, I told somebody that some rando on my one of my videos saying I should do this. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because I want to do it. I want to do it because nobody's asked me to do it. And like I said, if there are people out there who want to reach me, I have an email account. You want to talk business, reach me from there. Otherwise, you're on YouTube, say your piece. If you're on any kind of other social platform, same thing. Say your piece. Show your appreciation and everything. Because I'm not just a Let's Player. I'm not just an artist. I'm someone who has been through the grinder and back. And I've been through injustice before. It's not a big thing. The end result was this. I'm not kissing anybody's ass. That's the whole point. I was not raised to do that. I was not raised to take a knee for somebody else. The only time I would take a knee is to do the following. Either to propose and even more so, I would do it to my family. But I wouldn't just take a knee. I would go straight box. If you don't know what box is, sit down on your knees. Japanese sitting. That's what they call box. A sit down box is what they call it. I would rather just sit on my knees, samurai style. Especially if it was my parents, my grandparents, my primes before me. I would sit before them. I would not take a knee, but I would sit before them, and I would give them the respect that they so richly deserved. Because that's what matters to me. And I'm not doing this for any old reason. I'm not doing this for a movement, a revolution, or what have you, or whatever you think I'm doing it for. I'm being me. And I'd rather be me than try to be someone I'm not. And for 10 years on YouTube, I've been just that, me. even through all the good and the bad. Nothing has really changed me. Just the number of my years I've been here on this earth has only changed me, but that's about it. I have not aged since then. I've grown hairs here and there, but as far as anything else, no. Nothing else has actually changed. I'm still the same Let's Player that you've seen since 2010. I'm still the same Izzy that I've always been. I'm just not as tired as I used to be because people, I had to deal with people every day early in my early years. But now I don't. I have time now to basically finish up all the projects I've either forgot about or have been forgotten over many reasons, mechanical reasons. And hey, I got the time to do it. I got the time to play catch up with, say, 3% of what 3% of what I haven't finished, and then some. And I feel I'm not in a rush to actually finish it. So what I'm doing it for, I'm doing this for me. Even the voice acting, what am I doing it for? Me. I can only give the best I can do. And I can only get as much as I can do. As much as I can give, really. That's the most important thing. So, with that said, I wanted to take this time out to actually talk to you guys. Share what I've been through, what I've been going through. Because let me tell you, after getting over something as traumatic as a family death, and even more so, rebuilding off of something that needs to be restored correctly. And one of these things that I'm doing is restorative to me. It's something that needs to be said, that needs to be shared, that I feel it's worth the time and the effort to be fighting for. So, I'm just being me. And thank you for your time. And whatever I feel like I'm going to be doing, whether it's present time or future time, this is the underdog of the underrated Pookie Izzy 7, aka Ichigo Musko. And I shall see you next time with whatever I'm going to slap down. So until then, take care. Die Tenso! And see you next time for more great content. Thanks for listening.